All right, guys, we are live.
What's
YouTube
going on,
registration.
everyone?
What's up?
Just waiting for confirmation on my end that we're definitely 100% live. Oh, it's
Uh,
Beatles.
oh wow, how about
Oh
that?
my
What's going on,
stomach.
guys? Yeah, Beatles finds his way into all my videos now because he's got his little puppy dog all the time in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, what is going on, everybody? Today we have BitBoy, we have Crypto Fiend, and Hashoshi. So we're just having a good time. Honestly, we didn't really have any plans, guys. We just wanted to have a community hangout, see how everyone was doing in these crazy, turbulent times, and that's pretty much the plan for tonight. So, how is everybody doing?
I'm doing good, but I feel like my mouth is off from my voice here, so maybe
It
it'll catch
is
up
a
here in a
little
second.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, hold
Yeah.
on. You guys give me 1 second. Let me try to fix that real quick. You guys
No,
continue on.
no problem, dude. Also, I don't know what it is, but the yellow on your shirt is like getting hit by the or the green screen. So anyway, well, we probably shouldn't start without BitBoy. That's kind of rude. We'll wait for him to come back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, that seems pretty close to good.
Yeah.
Is that the right camera? I don't think that's the right camera. Hold on.
Yeah, your shirt looks a little weird on my end, but it's all good. It's just because the yellow's
Does it?
mixing in. Yeah, I don't know why.
You
It's
look,
all.
you look great. You look good.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it looks fine on my end, but I don't
It
know.
might just be my
Hey
settings, but
guys,
it's all good,
everything
man.
sound good
So,
on there? On the
So
live
I already
stream?
got somebody on my end saying what's up. Yeah, Michael, I just introduced everybody, so he knows Crypto Fiend, BitBoy Hodl, and also Hashoshi's been on the channel before as well.
How's it going,
So
guys?
I don't know, guys. Do you want to just start off until more people roll in? I wanted to kind of talk about what everyone's opinion was on the current markets. I mean, obviously, no matter what you say, if you say we're going down, you're fudding. If we're going up, like you're shilling hopium, right? So, what is your views on the market? I mean, I'm not a big TA guy. Do you guys do any TA or anybody? Or what do you
I
guys
do,
think?
the very, very minimal, RSI, MACD, etc. Right now, I really think we're at a weird time. I feel like we've never experienced before in crypto, where we have all these institutions eyes on crypto, but nothing's happening. And I feel like everyone's kind of just waiting right now for something to happen. A lot of people are saying we can keep going down at 3K. It's very possible, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, within the next couple of months, I personally see great things, especially with all the news coming out this past week alone.
Well, we touched the threes, so at least touching them, I feel like maybe, satisfied the bear gods. I mean, that's what everybody
Mm-hmm.
was calling for, was a $3,000 Bitcoin, and we hit what 3,600, I think, was the low, somewhere around there. I know I definitely got in at that point, which was good. So a little pump like this, I'm feeling pretty good about already. But you know,
Yep.
my one thing that I've really been talking about on my channel a lot, I feel like the last couple of videos, is there a chance? I don't think any of us believed this in the beginning, but is there a chance that this entire drop is from the hash wars? And you look at the timing, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the hash wars start, and within hours, the price drops below 6. Then, of course, drops all the way down to 36 over the last couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the hash wars are over, all of a sudden we get a pump back up over 42. So I guess the next few days will be real crucial to see if we continue going up or if, but it's really crazy to think that maybe a couple people have that much power over the markets.
It's not that hard to move the price that like realistically because market cap is not real. So
Right.
I mean, you don't actually have to have like billions of dollars to move the cap. I mean, you can use slippage. You could go on an exchange like Binance and sell all the way down or whatever you want to do like that, and that'll like crash the price as well. So there's actually a website I forget the name of it, where they show you, it tells you exactly how much it would have to move the price 1%, and like how many Bitcoins it would take. And it's like not a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's like I think it was like 200 Bitcoin or something, and you could go up or down 1% or something like that. I don't
Because
remember. You
it's
got
so
it?
much less saturated than people realize.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a guy back in December, or no, I think it was in January or February. He did like a little study where he studied the price and the market cap and then the volume, and he determined that basically a $23 million buy could move the market up to $1 billion. So
Wow.
that's absolutely insane. Now, that was during different times. There was a lot more volume back then and stuff. So I don't know if that could happen right now, but you would think it would be even more right now. So if somebody came in and put 5 billion into crypto, it could like double the market cap overnight. So
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing too, I wanted to say too is I've noticed not everyone's pointing at the Google Trends and all that other stuff, but I have actually noticed people taking interest in crypto again. I don't know if it's because of the bad news, all the stuff with the hash wars. It's sad because something so crazy like that actually kind of got us back out into the mainstream again, and people are actually talking about it. You know, unfortunately, the price is super low right now, but you know, even on my channel, I've had a lot of people tell me like, "Hey, you know, just saw you for the first time, and you know, just found your channel like this," and I'm like, damn, like I've been, you know what I mean? So I feel like there is an insurgence of new people, which is good. But you know, like you guys were saying, the price never really reflects the tech, but at the same time, it can be so easily affected by these things like these hash wars or just FUD articles that come out. I mean, don't forget, we were going sideways for a long time.
Most stable
And-
period in Bitcoin's history.
Yeah, I was actually starting to get. I liked it after a while. I was like, hey, I could get used to
complaining at
this.
all.
So
It was
I
less
like
drama.
it
It was just less drama. Like
Exactly. It
Yeah.
was quiet. It was very quiet.
Well,
So-
I think that's bad. Like, you know, we're YouTubers. That's bad for us, you know, because
True.
when the price
Yeah.
is stable, like, you know, you're looking at it's better than watching your portfolio go down by 50%. But, you know, there definitely has been an uptick in interest in the last couple of weeks. And I think it's almost like when the news, they only want to report bad news, you know, like they want to report the murder that happened, you know, down the street, but they don't want to report, you know, the great fundraiser that went on or whatever. And I think we're kind of seeing that in crypto where a lot of those people are sitting back and saying, see, I told you so. I told you it was going to crash. And that's causing people that are haters to kind of be involved and want to be interested in it because they want to see it fall. So that's good for interest. And then it's up to us to, you know, kind of maybe turn them into believers.
yeah.
So
and
quickly, could one of you guys explain to my viewers your take on like what the hash wars is, what kind of went on real briefly?
I feel like that's so up Hashoshi's alley.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
No, I mean honestly, I think the main problem with this whole thing is an argument really over whether or not proof of work's a good thing or whether it's a bad thing. And at the end of the day, it's also an argument about who's right and who's wrong when it comes to the path forward for Bitcoin and subsequently Bitcoin Cash. And obviously you saw all of the like back and forth, like some crazy stuff. Like, to be honest with you, it's such a bad look that, you know, Craig writes messages. Like, he just looks like a clown the way that he talks about things. But at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to people now questioning, okay, the prices are down. Bitcoin has been this steadfast, you know, 10-year institution, but there's so many negative things about, you know, is proof of work sustainable in the long term? Is it the right move to stay with it? Should we move away from proof of work? And ultimately, I think it's just a question of who's going to be the, you know, the stand-in Bitcoin god in a way, because that's been a big fight.
So outside of environmental issues, what is everyone's problem with proof of work? Is that the big thing? I mean, Charles Hoskinson just came out with an article a couple of days ago that said, you know, he's now against proof of work and hates that he was ever behind it because of the environmental costs. What are your thoughts on that? Oh my gosh, I look so crazy on your channel.
I know, dude. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go change my shirt. So hold on.
It's just I don't know. I don't.
It's
I only
crazy.
use Zoom when I'm with you guys, so I don't know.
Yeah.
The settings are crazy on Zoom. They make you.
That's what she said. Okay,
sparkle,
all right, hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah. No worries. I actually had a question real quick. I wanted to say, like, I mean, from a technical standpoint, just to kind of get this out of the way real quick, and then we could talk about other things. But actually talking about the Bitcoin fork as well. I mean, a lot of people, like, you can just dismiss it and be like, screw it. But from a technical standpoint, I mean, what's your opinions on the difference between the SV and the BCH? Because, like, it's really weird. I actually understand where SV is coming from in the sense of there you go, red. Okay, you're good. You're good. So I understand where they're coming from a technical standpoint, but the problem is you were seeing like Amari Sachet, he was coming out and basically saying, he's from ABC, that the software really isn't able to work with block sizes that big, and on stress tests on the BCH network, they weren't even filling the blocks themselves. So that's something to think about. I mean, is it dangerous what they're doing? Like, do you think they're trying to almost like rush too fast? Like, because we're not reaching that yet right now. We're not filling blocks. So why do we need to, you have 1 megabyte now and they got 128, I think it is now or something like that. Why do we need that right now?
No, that it's actually, it kind of goes against the rules of software development. You never go, if you said to someone, we're going to take something that can handle 1 megabytes in size for data. Now we're just going to multiply that out exponentially, or whatever else, make it 128 and just hope it works out. I mean, it's really a fingers crossed and let's just hope it works. It's just it's a terrible idea to try it in a non-test environment. Like, I could be proven wrong. If they've done testing and they know like this can work, I'll eat my words, but I would never test this out live. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, who was it? It was Poloniex had to shut down today. I think it was today or yesterday or earlier this morning. They were having difficulties with withdrawals and stuff, so they're already having problems. I don't know whose end it was on, but that was what they were saying.
Right.
My personal standpoint on things, I really think they both just need to disappear.
Well, that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Well,
Unfortunately not, but that's how I feel.
Imagine someone so evil that he made Roger Ver look like a good guy.
No, really.
Yeah.
Really
You know? I found myself feeling like having sympathy for Roger Ver. And, like, that's how crazy this guy Craig Wright is. He literally is like the Lex Luthor of crypto,
Yeah. No, and it's that type, but it's this type of thing that makes crypto look like a circus to people that aren't really involved. It's like this back and forth, like, oh no, I'm more important than you. I know more than you, and I know better what is truly Bitcoin. And it's like there's so much infighting. Like, this just goes to prove that point even more. Let alone the people who argue because they're passionate about something. These people are arguing almost about semantics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the normal person doesn't know that this is even happening. I think
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things where, like, we feel like it makes us look bad, and because we're all looking at it and we see the train wreck that it is. But your average person that's on the edge or the fence about crypto, that basically has downloaded Coinbase and has, maybe some Ethereum, or some people call it Ethereum. That's another story. But, they don't even know this is going on. And, Crypto Daily had a pretty good video about it. I don't know if you guys watch him. He's a person I watched first that kind of got me into doing video.
Actually, yeah, me too, man. I mean, he's like the king. I think he's like the best. I think he's like the best crypto YouTuber, hands down. Like, I mean, the thing with him though, like, he doesn't really like go deep into like content, but yeah. Sorry, dude, I had to chime in and give him. Yeah, he's good. I like him.
His video editing is better than any of ours by a long shot, and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
The editing is stellar.
I've been trying to improve, but it's just he's on a different level, the way he works in the music and all that stuff. But anyways, he had a very good video about the hash wars that I watched a couple of weeks ago. And, he said that, this is kind of making us look bad, and people feel like that's what's causing the sentiment and price to drop. And then he was also talking about how, maybe that's not really the case. Maybe only the people inside of crypto are basically saying that. And in reality, what's happening is these dips are just the institutional investors pulling the train back to them because they missed it last year. And the way he said it, the way he worded it,
that
it was,
quote gave me chills, man.
Me too, man. It really did.
I had to rewind that.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's true. When a retail investor misses the train, you miss the train, or when the institution, they pull the train back. That's crazy. And that's what they're doing right now.
A little lasso too. He lassoed it.
Mm-hmm.
That was good, because that's really what it's like. It's like they pulled it back to all last year. We were just saying, man, if we just could have got in at these prices and these prices and these prices, and we missed it. Or a lot of people missed it, and these institutions, like, they've just dropped the prices right back down to where they were before. So, and everybody says they're going to mortgage their house. At first, it was when Bitcoin hits 5,000, then it's when it hits 4,000, then it's when 3,000. But nobody ever remortgages their house for Bitcoin, because when it drops that low, the confidence isn't there anymore,
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody new getting in right now, holy crap, are you lucky? That's all I'm saying. If you're just getting into crypto right now and you're watching this live stream, I mean, you just lucked out. I mean, this is like freaking sales day, freaking Black Friday 10x, but we might have, farther to go down. And there are some people that say that. So it's difficult, especially when you guys know, being a YouTuber, you're like the first guy that everyone gets pissed at when something doesn't go their way, or a coin. Oh, you talked about this, you talked about that. It's like, guys, we're just the dudes that like talk on the internet. Like
Yeah.
there's guys behind the scenes that you should really be angry with. Like the really manipulative ones that are pulling the strings that, you know, these I don't want to, you know, names whatever, but I just think like pointing the finger at YouTubers and saying like we're the bad guys. It's like, guys, like we're helping harness in adoption. I mean, I do this because I love it, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you guys do too. Like we didn't start YouTube channels so we could become like, you know, whatever. We did it because we loved it. We enjoyed the content.
I mean, I have really no interest in being famous. It's really just about, I mean, this is what I talk about in general for fun. So it's just another way to talk about it and meet people who do the same thing. So yeah, I'm with you on that. But the problem is now, like, it's sometimes hard to tell the difference between someone who is doing it for the right reasons and talking about it and like really speaking about something that they believe in. Like there's a difference between just being wrong and being like manipulative, right? So I kind of understand at times people are like, they see, you know, one of us talking about something, it goes awry and they're calling foul play because like,
Shiller, you're a shiller because you had a video where you talked about a project.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
on that topic, let's talk about some real issues that just happened, though. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was the issue with the CentraCard scandal that happened. Now, they were claiming to have a partnership with, I think it was like MasterCard or something like that. Turned out to be completely a lie. And they were the ones that had Mayweather and DJ Khaled promoting it.
Another one.
Another one, yeah, and so I found out that, you know, these guys, DJ Khaled, he ended up having to pay like $150,000, you know, in whatever fees, and then Mayweather was like $600,000. But yeah, great for these guys that they got millions and they could just pay off the stuff. But you know, you got to be.
They lost money though. They ended up paying out in fines more than they brought in for the promotions.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, you know, when you know now it's getting serious out there. A lot of YouTubers, you know, because I'm not even like an OG in this space. I mean, there was YouTubers out, you know, years before me, and these guys were getting a lot of these deals, that people like to talk about. That, you know, people say that whatever, but yeah, they were getting it, and no one was noticing. Oh, they're talking about a coin. Cool. They must really love it. In the background, they're getting paid a bunch of money about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's changing now, and you're gonna have to start being honest. If you're doing sponsored stuff, you're gonna have to say it's sponsored. You just have to do that, and you deserve, the people deserve that personally. But at the same time, I think it's a mutual benefit back and forth. I think that the viewers need to respect the fact that if you're doing YouTube full time, you know, you need to keep the lights on. But at the same time, as a influencer, content creator, whatever you want to call it, you have to have that integrity, and you need to do the right thing and tell people when you're getting paid for what you do. That's my take on it, and you know, that's really all there is to it. So these guys,
it's not an easy task either. You know, whether you're an influencer or whatever else, to take a project that may or may not reach out to you directly to say like, hey, we'd love to work with you in some form or fashion, to really do your due diligence and figure out, like, is this thing worth my time? You know, it's not an easy task to really identify the opportunities that you believe in and the ones that you don't, you know?
Yeah, especially nowadays, like, you know, if you get a project that reaches out to you, it's so hard to determine if it's legitimate or not. They're all getting so much better with deceiving people. It can definitely be real scary promoting stuff nowadays. So definitely gonna have to start keeping our guard up a little bit more.
I feel like, I don't know. See, I don't really feel that way about ICOs. I talked about this on a podcast, Cryptos Chains with a K. I was on his podcast today.
Oh yeah. He's in the Telegram chat a lot. I think I think he wants to do a thing with me as well. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, and I was on his podcast today, and we talked about this because, to me, ICOs have gotten such a bad rap, and like everybody has this idea that they're all scams, and it's not true. It's more incompetent. They're like incompetent with what they're doing, combined with a terrible market. I feel like very, very, very few of these ICOs are setting out intentionally to scam and deceive people. They have great ideas. They have a good idea what they want to do for a network. The need may not be what they think it should be, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if I do an ICO review, a paid review or whatever, and I feel like the project's really good, it's going to fail because it's coming out right now. It doesn't matter how good it is. The next Ethereum could be out there. It's going to fail right now. The only ICOs that are going to make it are the ones like the Telegram ICO, you know, that have had so much money and only private investors. I think minimum was $100,000 investment in that. Those are the ones that are going to probably be able to make it in this market. There's just not enough money going around. I mean, I feel bad for these ICOs that are doing paid reviews because it doesn't matter if the biggest ICO guys out there right now do it. People aren't running to the market to buy them, period. So,
well, I don't know, man. Do you think that? Because in one sense, I mean, if you really think about it, if you're launching an ICO, I mean, we have the issues with the STOs. I'm not even talking about securities. I mean, just pretend we don't know anything about ICOs. I mean, what do you think? Because launching an ICO now might be beneficial, maybe because then the price could go up. You know what I mean? Like they were launching it at the top.
yeah.
So,
but I mean, the ones that have been paying out for paid reviews and stuff, I mean, they're, I feel like if you're already a couple of months into your ICO right now and you got a couple months left, you're probably screwed. If you're just now putting together, the plan to do it, then you might be okay if the markets turn around. I mean, we are close to a bottom, whatever, but I don't know. I do like Monarch though. Big shout out to Monarch. That's the only ICO I've ever invested in. So
yeah.
I was trying to get
the only one
some of
I've
those.
ever invested in was U-Trust. That one did pretty good off the launch, but now obviously,
It's funny that you said that, BitBoy. I was actually asking Beatles if I could get some MTS tokens because they're like whatever, and he was like, "Are you an accredited investor?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Sorry." I was like, "Come on, Beatles, we're friends." He was like, "Nope, can't do it, man." Like he was dead ass, just like legit, and I was like, "All right, but it's okay, it's all right." I mean, you know what? It's a good thing. That's how it should be. It's funny because I'm kind of getting off topic here because we could talk about ICOs all day, but it's just funny to me how like there's so much criminal labels put on this space, and yet did you guys see just today you have the Deutsche Bank, getting caught for laundering again. This is like the fourth bank in like probably 2 months that it's been caught.
How much was it? What was the amount? Did you see?
I didn't see the amount. I just literally.
Last week there was a story about one that was $150 billion laundered, which is bigger than the entire crypto market cap.
That's crazy.
With Deutsche Bank, yeah.
And based on this, like the scale of it, they're actually kind of getting away with it. I mean, yes, you get caught. Yes, you get a lot of press. Yes, there's enforcement. But at the end of the day, like if this were, in my opinion, if this type of scale scam happened in like the crypto world or maybe some of these other less institutional areas, there would be like serious enforcement, like to their degree.
Serious crackdown for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not saying that it's the system is rigged per se, but it's one of those things where
it is.
You hear about it you hear about it in the news, but then it's like you don't really ever hear like maybe the top 2, 3, 5, like to 5 people really get burned for it when it's probably a much more pervasive issue.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about kind of penalties, what people are receiving, I mean, you look at what Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled just got. It's pretty severe, but then you look at the founder of Ether Delta, and he got like a $300,000 fine, which when they were talking about all that's ran through there, that's really nothing to him. So I think, Martha Stewart, right? Insider trading. She goes to prison for it. She got punished very, very hard because she didn't cooperate and she lied and she committed perjury. And I think all of these ICOs are going to end up having to answer the SEC. It's going to be as simple as if you cooperate, you're going to get a slap on the wrist and be able to survive. But if you don't cooperate, then you're probably going to go to prison. And I think that, that's going to bear itself out over the next, who knows how long these investigations. I mean, think about how many ICOs there are, and what investigation takes. I mean, we've seen, now obviously it's the president of the United States, but we've seen how long, this investigation has gone on for like years now. These investigations, when you get governments involved, they want to uncover every single rock and, turn over every stone. I guess that means the same thing. But anyways, they take their time with this stuff. So we could still be dealing with some of these cases from the ICOs over the last year for 2 or 3 more years at least, So
yeah, especially when there are no standards for record keeping. Who knows if these people have even kept track of who bought what and when and for how much. I mean, there's no real way for them to truly figure it out. That's the task that's ahead. There's been so many of them, first of all, and then there's no standards, so who knows?
And this is a question maybe you guys know. I hope I don't look like an idiot for asking this. I was talking about this today with someone. I don't really know how this works. If you're an ICO and you're in a different country, then how does the SEC still have control to reach, even if you've been dealing with American investors, like, how is their legislative and legal arm long enough to reach into Malta, for instance?
Yeah.
Does the government of Malta or whatever country?
I really feel like it's just a big mess, and a lot of these people are going to get away with things. Maybe down the road they'll get caught and prosecuted or whatever. But right now, I really think it's just a big tangled mess with all these other ICOs in these countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like governments, like outside governments, would have to cooperate if there was any chance that it would ever get to them. I mean, but I agree. All the foreign ICOs, they're gonna most likely get away with it, but any ones that happened in the U.S. are gonna get.
Oh, they're gonna get nailed to the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, I mean, that's the same thing that, Dazfire, I just got to give her a huge shout out. Finally, a super chat. Finally, good to see you back, by the way, Dazfire. Anyway, she knows. So getting back on that topic, yeah, but the problem is that it doesn't really matter the jurisdiction. Like, they try to get around it, being like, oh, we are... we're out of this jurisdiction, we're out of that jurisdiction. But like they said in Colorado, they said it doesn't matter because if it's being promoted to U.S. citizens, or even, for example, in their case, people from Colorado, they were like, it doesn't matter. You're marketing it towards people in Colorado. People in Colorado are buying it, so that's enough reason for us to step in, apparently.
So I just got Crypto Boots. We met him out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Cool guy. He just said on my chat that if we find these other ICOs and out of the country, we can cut off their SWIFT codes, and basically that will mess with their money. SWIFT codes are used to transfer money internationally. So I guess we have some kind of more financial apparatuses we can go to shut them down rather than actually going there and trying to arrest them, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, what about the fundraising's all done with tokens? I mean, how are you going to block Ethereum transfers, or...
That's a good point.
I mean, well, like they said, I mean, somebody, Marco Pons right now in the chat, he says STOs are gonna lock us out. I mean, once the STOs come in, it's just going to go back to the old system again, and it's going to go right back to, accredited only investors, which means basically everybody watching, including myself, because I'm not like rich. I don't know. People think like I have money. I don't really.
Like I had to let you borrow money to fill up your Lambo.
Yeah, my Lambo. I don't even have a car. Guys, I literally do not even own a car. I swear to God. Like, my girlfriend has a car, and when she comes home, I take it. I work at home all day. Like, I'm always doing this. You guys know how it is. A half-hour video takes you like freaking 5 hours to put together. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. And it's going to be an interesting space with these STOs. But the other thing too, I mean, you saw what had happened with the judge that had actually wrongfully classified the particular, I forget, it was block something, as a security when in fact it was a utility. And that's the thing. I still don't think like just because STOs are coming out that suddenly everything's an STO. It's not. Some things are going to still have utility, but as BitBoy actually put out with the whole Walmart blockchain thing, you were like, not every blockchain needs a token. And that was the problem. The problem is we're getting tokens for garlic bread, tokens for banana, tokens for, I mean, literally tokens for everything. Yeah. And people are wondering why these tokens are losing value. It's because they don't have, any real purpose in the ecosystem except to just be speculative. And that's really it. So, and
there are also tokens that are necessary for the platform, but are literally counterproductive to accrue in value. So it's like certain tokens that are meant to be used in the platform. If it gets so deflated that each token's like $10,000 equivalent, it's just a pain in the ass to use it. Depending on what the use case is. So there are also occasions, like people talk about Ripple a lot and XRP and how the token's going to crazy values like 100,000, whatever. I don't think that even if the demand were there, and who knows what could happen, anything can happen, even if the demand were there, there's no way that the supply would not be adjusted to make XRP still relevant to be used for its purpose, which is cross-border payments. Do you think anyone wants to be dealing with like 1/1,000,000th of an XRP to send small values? There's no way. It's just not plausible. So some of these tokens you see like people claiming that they're going to go to this crazy valuation. Think about what its purpose is when you make that claim,
Well, the the 589 XRP claim, which I'm sure you're talking about there, it's just so crazy to me. I talk about this a lot. Like the basis for that is that if every single dollar that gets transferred internationally used XRapid, that's what Ripple would be worth. However, or that's what XRP would be worth. However, if every single a dollar that got transferred internationally was being used by XRapid, that means crypto is probably going to have been wildly successful, and we're not going to be needing to do all these fiat transfers anymore. So I think it's kind of like a catch-22 for XRP. It will never get there. I don't think that XRP and Bitcoin can coexist forever. I think ultimately either the banks are going to win out or Bitcoin's going to win out. But of course, I mean, XRP does have Codius coming out, which is a DApps platform. So they're trying to do everything all the other cryptos are trying to do at this point.
Well, you forget the fact that we're going to be using XRP for interplanetary payments. So once these other planets start using it, then it's going to really accrue that $500+ value.
Yeah, that Mars colony, man. Just wait.
I mean, it's so small right now. The whole market cap is such a joke. I mean, what really blew my mind was I think like once we're under 140, literally McDonald's could buy us out. Or it's less than McDonald's, so it's really crazy. Oh, Bitcoin Ben in the chat. What is up, buddy?
Oh, Bitcoin Ben.
What is up?
Dude?
We gotta get Bitcoin Ben on a stream sometime, man. I really do. We've been meaning to get up, but it's just time and busyness and stuff like that.
Just shouted him out on my podcast yesterday.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah. Hey guys, so Zcash listed on Coinbase Pro. Who saw that one coming?
Yeah.
Who saw that one? Everyone thought it was going to be XLM. Everyone thought it.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But the thing is did you see now but the way they're dealing with it, because some people were saying that privacy couldn't get on there, so it's like, I guess Zcash has, I've never really looked into it that much, but it has like a way you can make it anonymous. So it's not always anonymous. So I guess that they're accepting anonymous deposits, but they're only allowing transparent withdrawals. So that's kind of how they're getting around that. So yeah,
that could be very useful.
One interesting thing is, part of my job, I meet a handful of startups fairly consistently that want to talk about, their platform being used to build stuff or a useful tool for clients, whatever. I met the guys at Chainalysis, and they're like basically blockchain forensics. Their tool was used to help find the MTGOX, Bitcoins, and all that jazz. Really cool, like data modeling software for blockchain. And there's, from my understanding, that it's been sort of targeted as a use case for law enforcement and other ways to track down crypto assets across different addresses, even across platforms. So it was pretty interesting to see that in action and learn about how they've used that to track down some of the funds that we thought were lost forever,
I got $100 coming back to me.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had any. I just had some dust in there because I cashed out a month before it crashed. So, but it's pretty cool how they can use that modeling. Hey, I got a question in my chat that I thought would be kind of cool for all of us to answer from Oli in Austin. That's what she said. So, what's been the biggest thing you've learned during the bear market?
Patience. Definitely patience, and just understanding what's to come in the future.
Yeah, I think this has given me the most clarity in terms of what it's helped me refocus on what projects I'm super passionate about, and really seeing who in the market is really passionate about crypto for crypto and not just for profit, right?
I mean, for me, it's been a lot. It's been everything. I mean, like when I first started my channel in January, I didn't even know a thing about the stock markets or how I never even used an exchange before. So the amount of knowledge that I've learned from crypto just about life, but also about finance, and also about like the darker side of things and how these guys really do, backstage dealings and whatever it is. It's been a lot, man. But the biggest thing actually that I don't talk about too much is ironically the fact that in this crazy market, fundamentals apparently do not matter. I don't know why, but it just seems like no matter how good a project is, no matter, what they're doing, what their partnerships are, it like literally doesn't matter because some random shitcoin is just going to pump 500% for absolutely no reason, and you're going to miss the pump and you're not going to understand why it pumped. And that's the thing.
People respond to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marketing's important.
I mean, I go on CoinMarketCap, and some of the coins that are like up, I'm just like, why? You know, like, what is it about this coin that's, and you know what it is it's just a speculative investment. People want those low cap gems, as they call them, but they're not really gems. They're just pump and dumps, essentially. So that's definitely something I learned. And honestly, come second time, you know, if when this bull run eventually does happen again, I'm going to be a lot smarter this time. But I think a lot of us are too. So I don't think those same tricks are going to work. You know what I'm saying? I think the whole community is a lot smarter this time around, and that's good. Because we should be evolving and we should be learning from our mistakes, you know? And I was actually talking to my dad again on the phone today. We always talk a lot about these markets. And he was asking me, like, you know, have you ever considered doing something different with your YouTube channel? Like, he was like, why don't you do like those tech review channels, or, you know, start doing like unboxings of like iPhones or yeah. He was like, why don't you start doing that? He's like, why do you stay with crypto? He's like, crypto's down and no one's paying attention to it. And I'm like, dude, I don't just like hop to the next thing because like crypto's down. I mean, that's like the worst thing you could do. I've seen so many people out there just leave, like content creators just stop making content. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Like, this is when people need you. This is when we need each other the most. This is when the community needs to be the strongest. Like, I would never leave you guys in a bear market. That's crazy. So,
well, it's hard in the bear market, you know, but I only know the bear market with my channel, as do you. So we don't know what it was like to get 5,000 subs a week, you know, out of nowhere. So, you know, I definitely feel, you know, some of those guys that, you know, aren't as committed as us, you know, to making I cannot get my hat straight. I think I keep turning the wrong way. But, you know, I would say for me, though, the biggest thing that I learned during this bear market is to not get caught up in the euphoria no matter what happens, which is going to probably be pretty difficult. But if you look back at the euphoria that was going on in December, I'm sure you guys know the Charlie Lee tweet from December where he said, you guys be careful. Don't get too excited about Litecoin. If you can't handle Litecoin dropping to $20, then you are not going to like this. And I went and looked at that tweet last week. Somebody had posted it on Reddit. Of course, I remember when he tweeted it because I remember seeing it like, oh, yeah, Litecoin to $20 is at $3.50 right now, you know? And I went back and I looked at all of the comments and all of the hate that he got from his own community and from people that were saying, oh, it's different this time. It's different. I actually went down through every one of the replies to that, just looking at how many of those accounts are still around, and it's almost none. Almost all of those accounts pretty much dropped out sometime between January and August. And the fact that like that's the last time they have any tweets from him. And so for me, looking at that, remembering that how ridiculous I thought at that time that a $20 Litecoin would be, and then fast forward to last week and it's down like $28. It reminds me that we got to look at the people who have been in the game longer, who have more level heads. And when they start making comments like that, this next go around, we need to be prepared to, you know, maybe take some profits. And, you know, I wouldn't take everything out of the market no matter what, but maybe at least take some profits and things like that. So I think we all want to do that. And I think we all will do that. I think all the people that are watching our channel right now will probably do that. I think that all of the new people will not do it again, and we'll go through the exact same thing we just went through.
Yeah, I say that all the time, take profits. I mean, I think pledging allegiance to any coin or any project at a loss is ridiculous. I mean, even projects that I've heavily supported, like heavily. Like, I mean, people know on my channel, I've talked about Icon countless times, okay? But, you know, I had a break-even point where I had to sell. Yeah. I just had to, because that was where I bought in. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to keep losing. So I sold, and then I waited till it fell, and then I bought back in, and it fell back down again, as you guys clearly it fell back down. But my point is, you know, it's okay, guys. Like, and I try to tell people that, you know, it's you need to do what's best for you. You have a life, you have family, kids, bills, a house, a mortgage. I have a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, you got to be careful with what you do in the market and just be safe. It's difficult. I mean, there's the tech, there's the life-changing aspect of it, you know, with the whole Venezuela thing and people. But then there's also the making money aspect. And, you know, a lot of people got wrecked this year, and I definitely don't want to see that again, especially for anybody new that's watching right now. Please, like, be very careful.
We probably all got wrecked, right?
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah. Did anybody not get wrecked? Ryan, did you not get wrecked?
I got wrecked.
We all got wrecked. So
yeah.
We're all walking, living, talking, and breathing memes.
One thing I wish I did was just hold Bitcoin, honestly, because Bitcoin took the least hit. And, you know, at one point I had almost 3 times as much Bitcoin as I have right now because of, you know, doing trades and getting into
And
different
that's definitely a hard decision. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of new people have is when you first jump into crypto, you see all these cryptos down 30 times. It's like, why would I invest in that? Why would I invest in Bitcoin and make, say, 4 times my money at an all-time high when I can invest in something small? But yeah, in the big picture of things, you could see that Bitcoin is still a better investment across the board. I mean, obviously it depends on the project in the long term, but I agree with that.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin is still up from its inception. What coin is still up from its inception? I mean, okay, ICOs, yeah, sure. Some people got private, but like, look at a lot of the prices since they hit exchanges. Like the first time they ever hit exchanges, there's not a lot of coins. I mean, a few, not many.
Well, I think there was a study done. I remember reporting it on my channel. Gosh, I think it was back in June or July. Basically what it said was you would have been better off holding Bitcoin and not trading and getting into alts at all during this last bull run up until June or whenever it was that the article was done. And that's great. And that's true. If you're holding Bitcoin and you held it and it was able to be more, you know, resistant to falling than your other, you know, coins were. However, if you would have invested in Bitcoin on November 1st, it was probably sitting, I think, about $4,000 right then, maybe 4 to 6. You would have got like a 4 to 5 times gain. However, if you invested in Tron on January 1st, you would have got more than the 30x gain. And same thing with Cardano. The whole thing is people just didn't know when to take those profits. So the thing is when the market moves parabolic, you have a much better chance of getting a huge come up. And I like to play roulette and play poker, so I love a big come up. You know, you have a much better chance of getting big money with the altcoins. Not financial advice, but gambling advice. You can take that if you want. But, you know, with Bitcoin, you didn't get that same kind of meteoric rise. And we're talking about the difference between a 5x and a 30x. But if you would have held on to all of those coins, then you would have been better off holding on to Bitcoin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, You're saying had you played the game right and sold at the right time. I mean, because like let's not kid ourselves. A lot of coins had a lot of potential. I mean, even coins that people say stuff about now, they did very, very well. I mean, freaking Dash. Oh my God, Dash was like $10 and it went up to like
1,500, I think.
That's insane.
I mean, Rayblocks blew my mind.
Oh my God, Rayblocks.
Rayblocks blew my mind.
Rayblocks is Nano, by the way, for anybody who's new.
Yeah.
So
it did a lot better when it was Rayblocks.
Right. The good days.
I still like Rayblocks. I think it's really, really impressive. The only thing I ever really heard about it, or Nano. Now you got me saying Rayblocks. You're just gonna let me say.
I think Rayblocks was a better name.
People are gonna go on and just be like Rayblocks. But, well, the funny thing about Rayblocks is it was better for marketing because Nano. I mean, you search Nano, you know how many things come up. Rayblocks, at least.
That's a good point.
You would Google it, it would come up right away. So they kind of screwed themselves in that arena.
Well, the Big Grail hack destroyed it, and that was before they rebranded. So it was Rayblocks when that hit. That's when the price really, really dropped. It had one little jump, but you know, Nano's it's one of those that doesn't really make sense to me because it's super fast. Like I've downloaded the wallet, I did a review on the wallet. It's really fast. And it's basically free to send stuff. That's why it's big in Venezuela right now. Venezuela and Dash are both the two that are getting used the most down there. But it got hit much harder than the other coins. It's like once that Big Grail hack occurred, and then it wasn't just a hack. Like we've seen hacks with other projects before. The problem with this one was it just really seemed to drag out forever because it was caught in the Italian courts for several months. I did a story on it just a couple months ago where it was still, you know, drawn out and stuff like that. So I think that unfortunately that loss of confidence in it, you know, somebody lost $17 million in it, maybe in the hack. Or maybe that was the total was $17 million.
I don't remember.
It's okay because right now it's only worth 50 cents.
Yeah, I mean, but that was the exchange's fault, right? I mean, Nano.
Well, that's the lawsuit. The lawsuit is basically Nano or Rayblocks pointing the finger at the exchange, and the exchange pointing the finger at the coin. So we don't really know whose fault it was. We just know that there's a lot of blame game going around, and I think that really hurt it.
Well. Yeah. I wanted to actually, because I like having like a kind of like tech guy on the channel, like Hashoshi. I wanted to ask you your opinion because it's the DAG model. What do you think about it? I've heard a lot of concerns over like timestamps or security vulnerabilities and stuff, and I know certain projects have taken stances against that. But what is your opinion on the security of something like Nano? There is no proof of anything really behind it. I mean,
yeah. So in my opinion, DAGs are just like a blockchain and pretty much anything, including tangles, which are permutations of a DAG. Really, like all of these have pros and cons. The real benefit of tangles, DAGs, those sorts of things, even Hashgraph, is speed. Like speed is prime time. You're going to get the best throughput from those types of solutions, those types of systems, and you're going to get that same auditability. But the truth is because of that, you are sacrificing, in some respects, you're sacrificing true timestamp because it's just not inherently supported. And you're also, in my opinion, more vulnerable to potential brute force attacks. And also in the future, who knows how much more DAGs are going to be affected by quantum computing hacks. You just never know.
Well, isn't that an issue, the fact that they're all their own individual chains? I mean, isn't that just like more points of failure potentially?
Right, more points of failure, but it also makes, where a blockchain is built to be Byzantine fault tolerant because it's all a collective system. You're right. I mean, DAGs are very like, it's like the Wild West, a version of a blockchain in a way. They aren't as strong and resistant to those types of like to faulty, I guess you could call it like malicious activity. They're not as resistant to that. That's just an inherent flaw. I mean, I don't think personally we've seen a version of distributed tech that is really like the answer. And I don't think that we're going to have the answer for a while. Like we're kind of in that period of time like the internet was, where we have like all these different versions, and I don't even know that the best one is going to win, like TCP/IP, all that stuff. Like that's not the best option. It was the one that was adopted and we stuck with it,
Yeah. No, dude, I just wanted an opinion because, like I said, it like you said, what they're using it for right now is great. Like for like Venezuela transfers, feeless, instant. That's great. I'm just concerned about like the ability of getting hacked. That's and security really.
Yeah, I mean, but to be honest with you, I don't think that blockchains necessarily. And I mean, I do this for a living. Like this is if blockchains end up being, a fad, I've bet my career on doing this for a living. Distributed tech is what I do, but I don't know that blockchains aren't perfect either. There are vulnerabilities there as well. So that's a factor. When people have to realize that this stuff isn't bulletproof, and it may not ever be.
Somebody asked if I could do a Bitcoin giveaway. I need to have some to give it away, buddy. I don't think we don't got much left after this market.
I got a question, Jeff, from Aaron Beatles. I believe that's Crypto Beatles.
Lil Beatles. Oh, that's my dude right there. Love that
What's
guy.
up, pimps? You guys think McAfee could win a hot dog eating contest?
Oh man, I think all he's got to do is down one of them to win.
Yeah, I agree. So let's answer the question a lot of people probably want to know. What are we all currently doing in the market? And are there any cryptos you guys are keeping an eye on, maybe picking up, etc.?
Well, I'm buying right now for sure. So I was in a pretty fortunate situation where I just sold my house. And so the timing couldn't have been any better for me to, have a little bit of money to put in. I was very scared that the markets were going to take off before I was able to sell it and close and be able to invest. So the timing for me, the week that the dip happened was the week I closed. So it's been really good timing, and I've been able to kind of move around and get some new things. I'm actually going to be doing a video on my channel tomorrow where I'm going to be not showing my dollar amounts, but my percentages into different projects. But I will tell you that I'll give you, obviously, I mean, Bitcoin is at the top, but two, that my biggest altcoin bag is Tron. I'm a big fan of Tron. I think that I did a video called my first annual Tron's Giving. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, where me and Justin's son celebrated with a Tronky at the end, which is a turkey that rides to the feast on a Tron cycle. So, but hopefully I'll invite you guys next year to Tron's Giving.
Yeah, of course, I love that.
Yeah,
they just had that great news about the 100 million donation for gaming, right? Something like that.
I think Tron's going to do very well. I think out of all of the projects that are, I would say, in the top 20, I think Tron has the most upside. I know that might sound crazy. There's other ones that are safer. Monero is a very safe one. Monero is going to do very well. XRP investment wise is going to do very well. I don't invest in it personally. But Tron has the most upside. I did some math on a video where I basically explained how Tron can get to $10. It's not that hard of a path. If Tron were in the top 5, right, and we had a $20 trillion market cap, which a lot of people are predicting, then it would only need to have about 4% of that, which right now Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash and Stellar have about 3%, and XRP and Ethereum have between 9 and 13%. So numbers totally doable to go from a penny to $10. So I'm a big fan of Tron. That's one that I've definitely gotten into. One of the smaller ones that I've gotten into is Bison. I did a review on that, and doing the review, I was like, man, I really like this project. I think it's a perfect storm in South Korea, where the legislation there looks like they're easing up, and the government is wanting blockchain projects to be successful due to tax dollars. That's basically why they ended up making crypto legal there, is because they realized they were going to lose blockchain companies. They've got a really solid team that worked on the biggest messaging app in Korea, are part of the Bison team, and so that's one that I really like. And I did make that's the lowest cap one probably that I invested in. So that's a little peek into what I've been doing in this little dip here.
Yeah, I'm not actually really as exciting, to be honest with you. I've been kind of just like chilling, man. Honestly, like, I just feel like I've been buying the dip all the way down, and I got enough. Like, I'm just hanging out right now. Really just keeping an eye on like Bitcoin for sure. One of the questions that I actually asked was, what do you guys think about Bitcoin? Do you think it's still going to be the king forever? Or do you think Edward Snowden said that he thinks it might be replaced by something better? He says crypto will stay, but Bitcoin might die, or not die, but like it'll kind of go down. I mean, what do you guys?
XRP must have hired him as a spy.
Yeah, I could definitely get behind that. I could see it happening. Obviously, anything's possible. I'm just really interested to know, like, if that does happen, is Bitcoin gonna really drop off because it's kind of known for being number one?
Well, I mean, hypothetically, even if we do come up with a better system, we already have it. We have Nano, right? We have XRP, right? Those are fast. But Bitcoin's still here. Well, we could argue we have credit cards and we have cash, but we still have gold. So I think there'll always be that sort of store of value aspect to it, even though that may have not been the original vision or intention. I still think that the store of value aspect is going to remain. I don't know if it'll be number one, but I definitely don't see Bitcoin being something where like 10 years from now, it's like just, oh, you remember that crazy coin? I definitely see it being around for sure.
I don't think it's going to sink into irrelevance by any stretch. I mean, we may see, something unseated as the most valuable or most often used cryptocurrency. I mean, of course, hype works like that. But Bitcoin has lasted this long. It's been almost 10 years now since it came to the fray. And it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not gonna, I highly doubt that anyone's gonna break it. That's for sure. And from there, I think like you said about gold, I mean, I think people thought gold was always going to be king, and, gold's still really valuable, but it's not, you're not paying for your groceries with gold. That's just.
Yeah. I mean, like, realistically, just asking you right now, I mean, what do you use to move around when you're buying on exchanges or when you're doing stuff? Do you send Bitcoin?
Oh yeah, I use Bitcoin.
I do now. I do now. I quit using Ethereum. I use Bitcoin now. It seems to be just as fast.
Really?
And it's really, really cheap. I mean, I sent a bunch for 29 cents today, so.
Oh, okay.
It was, if you go back several months, I used Ethereum for everything or Litecoin, because they were the fastest options, but it's really gotten to where, and it's probably just because of the ease of the congestion of the network, because where the market is. If we go back through a bull run again, or when we do, I don't think Bitcoin will have all its network problems, solved. So we'll, I'm sure, experience higher transaction fees and slower transactions again. But just kind of chime in on this topic, I think Bitcoin will always be number one. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist by any stretch, but I am a Bitcoin confidant. I am confident in it. That's not what confidant means, but I'm very confident in Bitcoin that it's going to continue. And I think one of the biggest things that Bitcoin has that these other projects do not have, they have better tech, they have better systems, They have, more technological advances than Bitcoin has. However, Bitcoin doesn't have anybody saying what it thinks the direction should be. It doesn't have Charles Hoskinson coming out. It doesn't have Vitalik coming out. It doesn't have Dan Larimer coming out. It doesn't have Justin Sun coming out. It's got nobody speaking for it. And I think the mythical status, the legendary, almost folk hero status of Satoshi Nakamoto, as long as he is dead, God rest his soul, or as long as he is alive and never comes back, we can argue all day about what Satoshi's vision was, but Satoshi's never going to come out and change his vision.
Well, his vision is in the white paper, and that's pretty much it. And I wish more white papers would go back to being, that short, because these freaking 100-page white papers are like, do we need all this jargon? Like, come on, what does your freaking project do? Come on,
send them all to Hashoshi for him to edit.
Wait, what?
I said, you haven't got all those emails where I send you all the white papers and say, can you tell me what this means?
Marco Pon says,
gosh. You just made me look terrible.
Marco Pon says, I pay my dentist with Dentacoin. If you're actually telling the truth right now, then, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Finally, somebody uses the damn thing.
Well, there's actually, you guys may have heard of the Fibonacci. It's a way to, do TA and stuff. Well, I can tell whether or not Dentacoin is going to rise or fall based on whether I forget to brush my teeth or not in the morning. So that is a straight up market indicator. So if I'm doing a video and you feel a little crust coming through, then Dentacoin.
Well, maybe it's a big scam though, because think about it. If 9 out of 10 dentists recommend something, right? Like if 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a toothpaste, right? Well, then doesn't that mean your teeth don't they make money off of you not having clean teeth and having cavities?
Well,
so
let me tell you.
No, I probably just offended a bunch of dentists. You could say that for
you say that for
anything.
I'm selling Bitcoin right now.
Do you know the best time to buy Dentacoin?
I have no idea.
After Halloween.
What?
230.
230? 230?
230.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Come on, guys. That's the greatest dad joke of all time.
It's a pretty good joke.
Okay, all of the people in the chat are laughing. I'm getting so many funny emojis. At least 3 laughing ones here. So that was a funny joke.
When are we doing our episode of crypto dad jokes, guys? We got to get that all. That'd be great. We should get like some big guys. You know what? I figured it out. Screw these hash wars. I just want to get Craig and Roger in a room, and you're just going to go full force, 3 rounds, dad jokes. That's it. We're all live streaming it, and, we vote.
That'd be insane.
That's it. Done. Then we pick which one and we move on.
I'd like to give an honorable mention. There was an 80-year-old guy. He reached out to me on Facebook, and he goes, hey, I'm having trouble with my Ledger Nano S. I saw your video on it. I wanted to see if you could help me. He's like, I can't get this to work. I'm like, sure, like I'll help you out, whatever. We're going back and forth, and I'm like typing out what to do. And this guy's just asking me questions, trying to learn and like get familiar with this hardware. He's like, I really want to protect my cryptocurrency. I'm like blown away by this whole thing. And he's like, I think we talked for like an hour, and he goes, thanks so much for your time. I'd like to send you $50 in Bitcoin for your time. And I'm like, honestly, I will treasure that Bitcoin for the rest of my life. Like this
that's awesome.
Story.
At least you took the time, man, to sit down with a guy that needed help like that,
I mean, it's like, if this guy at 80 years old wants to take the time to learn how to do this stuff like on his own, I'm with it. I'll take whatever time necessary to do that.
Exactly, man.
That's cool.
Super awesome.
One of the things I wanted to say real quick, getting back on the price topic, I know I'm jumping all over the place here.
That's what we do.
But the one thing I wanted to say was I forget where I saw it today, but they said that the shorts are near record highs, but the longs are also very high. So I think the real answer is literally no one knows what they're doing right now. Like, I think everyone is taking a massive gamble on the space right now. And like to kind of talk about price, because I have people on the channel, so somebody was like, oh, crypto goes up 10% and all of a sudden it's a bull run. I'm like, guys, do you watch my videos at all? Like it's like half a joke. Like of course Amazon didn't literally cause the bull run. Like clearly,
it's meant to be ironic.
Yeah. Like the reason that I have I'm pretty sure I put like a rocket ship in our title or something. I think there's a rocket, I just do it for fun, guys. I mean, the thing is if you
everything can't be serious.
No, it'd be so boring. Can you imagine every day I just came on here and was like very straight-laced serious about it'd be so boring, guys. I mean, come on.
I mean, nobody watches CNBC all day, right?
Well, some people
do.
do.
Oh god. Sorry, guys.
If you do watch CNBC though, just be careful because they're literally 98% of the time wrong. So
trade the opposite.
If they say it's going to the moon, just sell everything. Not financial advice. Got to say that at least once on the video.
Yeah, seriously. No, but I think that's also an interesting thing. Like watching the way that the traditional mainstream media reports on crypto and like at what times they talk about it, it's like you can almost envision like some intern like, this crypto thing's pretty interesting, like you guys should report the news, and no one has any idea what they're talking about. Like no idea.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, even the hosts on CNBC, like when they're talking to Brian Kelly knows his stuff. Brian Kelly's pretty good. Outside of him, they're like, well, wait, what would happen if the price went up? Or like they just ask the stupidest questions. Or like they always talk to Tom Lee, who's like crazy bullish, and they're like, well, are you sticking by your prediction that Bitcoin's going to go up one day? It's just like the kind of questions they ask. It just drives me crazy. Brian Kelly he's a saint though. He's the only person on there who really seems to care. If he wasn't on CNBC, they probably wouldn't report on crypto at all.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know if they'd have a ticker. I mean, think of literally any segment you've seen on crypto from CNBC, and I will guarantee you it's either Brian Kelly or it's a guest. They don't have any regular people on there that talk about crypto. They have Tom Lee on there a lot. They have Tone Vays on there a lot. They have guests that come on and talk crypto, but he's the only person there that regularly talks about crypto that's a host of a show or that's, a regular contributor just to CNBC. I mean, from anything I've seen. So I'll tell you, if there are other people, they must really suck because I've never seen a single clip from them.
Yeah, no, they do have people on frequently once in a while, but I think you're right now that you mention it. They have like you're right. They have guests like Tom Lee comes on, but he's not part of it. So, right. Who's been really repping the space lately, and I've got to take my hats off to him, is freaking the Pomp, man. Pompliano, he's been everywhere lately. And he's the man. Yeah. See, like, that's my thing is, like, I got to get good. Like, he's so good at just, like, getting his entire thought out. Because, these guys, they only give you, like, a minute to talk. Yeah. And me, I'd be, like, rambling on about, like, this thing and that thing. I mean, this dude is just, like, bing, bang, boom. This is what's going on. I'm out of here, and he just really represents the space so well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really think his tweets give a lot of people inspiration in general. His tweets are awesome.
Yeah. Someone real quick, somebody in the chat was asking about Smart Cash. Do you guys know much about that? I mean, I know that I've spoken to Chris before. We were on, I've been on a game show with him before with Naomi, but I don't know much about it. Do you guys? Or
I know
I'm not familiar now.
The only thing I really know about it is when I did a video once talking about free ways to get crypto. I believe they do big like airdrops, but that's really the only thing I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure it's just a simple payment crypto.
All right. Yeah, maybe I'll look into it, honestly. I probably should because it is one that I've seen pop up a few times. So the other thing, too, that I noticed with crypto was, like, there were a lot of coins that people were really quick to call, like, in the bull run, quick to call scams and stuff like that. And I feel like now that time has kind of passed and we look back on them, you realize that they kind of have a purpose. They have a use case, like, I mean, I used to be really, really, really hard on a lot of projects, because I didn't, basically if it wasn't Neo, it was just like, whatever, because, well, I mean, everybody knows back in the day, I mean, Neo was like, it was the cult of Neo, man. I mean, Neo was, because, it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then it was DBFT consensus, and it had its own, coin that gave you gas over time. It was like mind blown.
It cannot fork until it forked.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were so many coins, and some people in the chat bring up Electronium, and Electronium was one of those ones where it got a lot of flack because it's basically a mobile miner, and you're not really technically, there's no real proof. You're basically just either playing games or, doing a task, and they're sort of being released through a faucet type system. But once again, how easy is that for somebody in a country that doesn't have the opportunities that we have? I mean, think about it. That individual, and you see the difference in prices over here, and what, like, was $600 worth of I think it was Nano, was it, or Nano, that was able to buy an entire school supplies for like the whole year. So when you think about that, I mean, think about those guys getting a mobile miner on their phone, which I'm sure that they can get. A lot of these guys have old phones, and they just start mining ETN, just mining it in the background. And now they have money that they can use to actually spend. So I think we're really quick to knock on things. you gotta let it play out. You gotta give it its time, and you gotta see how it works. I mean, initially it was a lot of marketers promoting it. The whole team was marketers, so people didn't really take it that seriously. So I've definitely learned to take things with a grain of salt, but also not judge books by their cover anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because, but then again, you know, unfortunately there is a lot of crap out there. But at the same time, you know, not like you said, BitBoy, not every ICO is a scam. That's ridiculous.
Most are not.
100%. Yeah. And look, I agree. I'm actually working on a video right now about like kind of wrapping up 2018 and how like difficult I think it's been for people in the crypto world, like whether or not you're really into it or just casual. Like, I think it's true. If you're on YouTube or you're on Instagram or you are on Twitter, like crypto Twitter, everyone knows how wonderful that in the world that is. Like if you say something about an ICO, you are labeled a shiller, like a scammer, whatever, whether you believe in it or not. And that's just the place that we're in, like the attitude that people have because of what's happened in 2018. Like that will fade over time. People will get past the pain.
Such a dirty word, ICO. Such a dirty word now.
It's unfortunate, you know, and I don't think security tokens are going to be huge like a lot of people would think. I think we will still have many more rounds of ICOs. They'll just come in different forms. So what I would say to everybody, like we always sit here and say, oh, not financial advice, or, don't go buy this because I said it or whatever. I mean, you've got to be able to take ICO information that you see and you got to be able to research it. Like I'll give you guys a real quick tip on ICOs. If you go to an ICO website and you see their scores from ICO Bench or CoinGecko or ICO Gecko, whatever the lizard one is, there's like 6 different ones that go around. If you look at their score and then you click those links and you go to the actual page and the score is not the same thing, or at least within a little bit of a margin of error, if they say they've got 5s and then you go there and they really got 2s, or you go there and then you go and you start looking through the comments on the reviews and you see that the good ones are very generic, like this is a good project, I would invest. But then you see the bad reviews and they're very detailed and they're like a paragraph long of why it's a crappy project. That's a good indication of the strength of that coin, because they all post whatever the highest score they had at one time was. And that's just the idea of like, do your own research on ICOs. They're not all bad investment. Well, during the bear market, when it dropped, everything's a bad investment, right? There isn't anything good at that point. But as we start moving into maybe some stabilized action or the price going back up, people are going to want to invest in ICOs again. I believe it. And so just do your own research on them and don't hold anybody accountable. If they're saying, if this is not financial advice, like you shouldn't hold that person accountable. That's their opinion about a project. Yeah. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt, and do your own research does not mean go watch 5 other videos from 5 other non-financial advice people.
The one thing too that just really quick piggybacking that always throws me off when I go, somebody's like, oh, check out my project. I'm like, okay. And I go to the website. If the first thing that I see is a countdown of like when it is, or like when when it's going to shift from like a 25% bonus to like a 10% bonus or something, and that's a first thing at the top, I'm like, that's crazy. The first thing you see when you go to a website should not be like,
be what it is.
Like how much time is left to invest. Like like that should actually be like on a separate page. Like I should be like just overflowing amounts of information. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I mean, since we're sharing, ICO tips, again, obviously not a financial advice show, but at the end of the day, I always look for people that are project first. Like if you read the white paper and it's a lot of like buzzwords, a lot of marketing, you can tell the difference between marketing and actual content. And like the website is one indicator of that. If it's like, graphics and like all these bold claims, I'm probably already sketched out from the very beginning. Like I want to see what you're actually doing and why it's important. You know what I mean? Being problem.
So somebody in the chat said, do your own research, go watch 5 more YouTube videos. That's not research. Anyway.
If I can understand your tech, your white paper is no good.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
One thing I look at in ICOs that I feel like maybe not a lot of people pay attention to, and it's definitely not the most important, but social media. I mean, that's a big thing to me, because in the grand scheme of things, again, like BitBoy said, you could have the best project, but if you're not marketing it and it's not real people following you, like a lot of these Telegram groups 10,000 fake bots or whatever, then that's a good indicator to stay away if it's fake following and stuff like that. Also, obviously, the team is the most important because they're the ones getting the job done. So those are probably the two most important things I look at with ICO.
Yeah, teams are important. They are good. I think a good list of advisors is good as well. But I mean, the truth is there is another Vitalik Buterin out there that's leading a project that we don't even know who he is yet, too. So just because you don't know the people on the team doesn't mean it's not a good project. But it's obviously much easier to research when they have, like Bizant, like I was talking about. I mean, their CEO and their CMO, like they've both worked with huge companies in China or in Korea, and it's easy to research and see the good stuff that they've done. So it definitely makes it a lot easier. And also, if Ryan Gosling is on your team, it's probably not a good project.
Oh my God! Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that ICO that literally used Ryan Gosling as? That was crazy.
That's hilarious. Still to this day.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I used to assess a lot of projects based on team, but what happened was after all these projects started coming out, it was like, we don't have any more developers, guys. So you're seeing a lot of people coming from without experience. So you do the LinkedIn profile check and they don't have much experience. They're fresh out of college. They just took some blockchain courses or something like that. And now they're working fresh in the field. So yeah, but I mean, on the flip side, you could say okay, that's one aspect. But on the other hand, look at all the colleges that are implementing blockchain technology. I mean, it's almost like once a week, more and more and more blockchain courses are rolling out in all different parts of the world. So clearly, academics are seeing a need for this. They're seeing a need for developers.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? I made this point earlier on the podcast I was on, which is I feel like probably when it comes to computer programming and college courses is there's more information available for a freshman programming class now than there probably was for a doctorate level if they have doctorate level programming or a master's level maybe 10 years ago, just because we have so much more access to information. And plus because you don't have to do with kids coming up these days. I sound like I'm 84 years old. It's been 84 years, but with kids coming up these days, they're not raised in the same level of technology that we were raised, so they already have a good foundation to a lot of, not necessarily computer programming, but they know how to do stuff more than we knew when we were their age, I guess is the best way to say it. What do you think about that, Hashoshi?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, for example, my little cousins, they're 5 to 11 years old. They can go on an iPad and they can learn Swift programming with a graphic user interface, and they can learn to code at a young age and just get familiar with the way you think. It's like learning Spanish. It's easier when you're a kid because you can kind of learn to speak the language earlier on more easily, so that type of thing, kids are just going to know how to speak the language at the end of the day earlier than it ever has been because of all the access to tech. I mean, even me, I use Code Academy all the time, and it makes learning new languages so much easier for me because I know that the way it's being done there is, a standard, and I can just get it. I can learn something quickly where it was a lot harder in college.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I definitely think we're just going to keep seeing more and more of it as well moving forward. I definitely think there's just going to be more of these courses, more of these opportunities. And like you said, I mean, just kind of jokingly, I was at Thanksgiving and my cousin was showing me stuff that I didn't even know my iPhone could do. I had no idea that iPhone had the ability to record the screen. You can screen record, because I remember
it's just on 10, right? It's just on the 10. I don't think I have that on the.
Well, you remember a while ago they wouldn't release those updates, stuff like that, because they were like, oh well, then somebody might be able to tap into the recording and they might be able to, right? But now you could do it. So yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know.
The one that really blows my mind now is the measurement one. You can measure point A to B anywhere in your house. That blew my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean everything is different.
So okay, so we're talking about the iPhone now. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to the 80s, right? Let's talk about those phones, or let's talk about rotary phones, or let's talk about, right? Tech takes time,
more secure
guys.
than a cell phone, and had better. You can probably hear the person better.
Tech takes time. So, guys, we've been going for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I don't know about everybody in the chat. I'm a little hungry right now.
I'm thirsty. I ran out of cherry Coke.
Did you?
So.
I've drank like
Dang.
almost a whole gallon of water right now. So I just drink water, man. I just love water.
That's what we had people in the chat noticing. They said, "You're chugging a Coke and Zombie's sipping the water."
I love water, dude. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I'm like one of those weird people that likes water. Some people hate water. I just like water. I don't know. But is there anything in the chat before we go? Anybody want to any guys got any questions before we go? I think we're gonna wrap it up soon. Or
I just want to shout out Daniel Peraz. This name, I'm sorry, WDWWADWAFWEFAE. Holy hell, that's one crazy name. But shout out to you for always commenting. Super dope, and Wounded Warrior as well.
Awesome.
Definitely. Okay, great, guys. I want to say thank you so much.
Well,
Ryan.
let's say where I had some people on my chat at the very end saying that they didn't know where each person's channel. So before we sign off, may each person, like for the people that caught it at the end instead of the beginning, kind of just tell your channel. I'm BitBoy Crypto. That's my channel. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well at BitBoy_hodl.
I am a Crypto Fiend on YouTube, and I am Ryan Rotolo on everything else, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
And Hashoshi.
I am Hashoshi. My name is Forrest. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hashoshi with the number 4.
Okay, great. And obviously I'm Crypto Zombie, guys. I really appreciate it. And it's just Crypto Zombie and the Crypto Zombie if you're looking on Twitter as well. Also, just for anyone that's watching on my channel, I also left all the links for you guys as well. So if you guys want to go follow these guys, they're all great channels and you're all great. The community's great. I had a good time. I love reading the comments. It's always a pleasure. And I like doing these hangouts once in a while, just kind of not having a topic and just seeing what everyone's up to.
Definitely. So. No editing, no nothing. Just
That's it.
Enjoying ourselves.
Done with the video for the day. That easy. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So for everyone out there, until next time, you guys freaking rock. I love you. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie.
Deuces
out.
Out.